what the black man and woman needs to know about the nation, about the world, about themselves. Muhammad Speaks It. To order your 12-issue subscription to Muhammad Speaks newspaper, 313-371-7033. 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.
Muhammad Speaks presents Messenger Elijah Muhammad's Teachings by Minister Khalil Shabazz every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, 12609 East McNichols Road in Detroit.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, sole Master's day, gentlemen, in which we now live. The alone do we serve, and the alone seek for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path of those upon whom thou bestow thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teaching. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none is heard to be served, worship or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. We'd like to acknowledge the brothers and sisters that extended us the greetings of Assalamu alaikum. We have Brother Mustafa and Sister Sharice Ali from Ohio. We have Brother Michael Shabazz of Tucson, Arizona. We have Sister Hala Brooks of California. And we have Brother Captain Hakeem and the believers in Richmond. I'd like to say in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and in the name of his last and greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'd like to greet the brothers and sisters with the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Today we like to talk about the white man wrote the Bible. This is one of many, because this week was another week of many attacks on the messenger by IUIC. Because usually what happened at the beginning of the week, I usually see a video from them attacking the messenger, and I say, I'm going to talk about that. Then Tuesday, I see something else, and I'm like, I'm going to talk about that. And all through the week, I keep changing, because they say so much about the messenger. So this was the one I saw yesterday. So I just decided I'm going to talk about this one. It says, the white man wrote the Bible. Who told you that? The messenger told. This is one of them sneak, because it ain't all the time a direct attack on. Sometimes it's just a sneak diss. Sometimes it's a direct attack. Sometimes it's disrespect. But this time it was just a little sneak diss. It says, who wrote the Bible, as if he asking the question. Then he says, who told you that? Then at the same time, they got another video that says, boots on the ground, the resurrection of God's people continues. Now, how do these two have a connection to what the messenger taught? First, we got to start with what the white man taught us a resurrection was. So this is just a simple Google search. It says the resurrection meaning in the Bible. It says in the Bible, resurrection has multiple meanings, including Jesus' resurrection, the event when Jesus Christ returned to life after dying on the cross. That's number one. But when they talking about the resurrection of God's people, they not talking about Jesus coming back from the dead. Where do they get this version of resurrection from? Then the second meaning that they give is the resurrection of the dead. The event when dead people will be raised to life before the day of judgment. Once again, they ain't talking about in the end when the dead people will be resurrected in the judgment. They talking about like they resurrecting the black man right now. Where they get it from?
Yes, sir.
So then they have a third definition. It's called the act of causing something to exist again. This is what we believe a resurrection is present day. We didn't believe it like that before. Before we believed, just like the first two, it was two resurrections that we knew of as Christians. We knew of the resurrection of Jesus. He died of physical death, so the white man says. He died of physical death. He resurrected from a physical death to life. Then they said in the judgment, all the dead people, our dead relatives and friends and all the people we know, gonna rise from the grave of physical death, be resurrected to go into heaven. That's what we was taught. Now let's go to the messenger. Let's go to the July 1962 Muhammad Speaks. And this is one of the reasons why I love the history of the message. Because we don't have to change nothing. We don't have to come up with nothing. All we got to do is go back and get what the messenger done already said. The messenger, and that's why I'm telling you, I hate that we stuck with this hypocrite Louis Eugene. The messenger placed the victory in our lap. We already won everything we needed to win before the messenger passed away. All the teachings that we needed to be victorious, he already gave it to us. But because of this hypocrite, we act like we don't know nothing at the message. We just ashamed of the message. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in 1962, this was an exclusive. It's called What the Muslims Want. Then when you go to the page 2, it says the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Muslim program. Remember that. The Muslim, not the black man, the Muslim program. Now when you read in the Muslim program, it says, by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it says, what do the Muslims want? This was a question that was asked to the messenger. So he says, this is the question asked most frequently by both the whites and blacks. The answer to this question I shall state as simple as possible. So the simple way that the messenger could break down this question, what do the Muslims want? He gave us 10 wants and 12 beliefs. That's how the messenger could just break this one question down as simple as he could. He had to give us 10 wants and 12 beliefs. So in what the Muslims believe, we go to number 3. It says, we believe in the truth of the Bible, but we believe that it has been tampered with and must be reinterpreted so that mankind would not be snared by the falsehoods added to it. That's what the messenger taught.
Yes, sir.
Ain't nobody asked the black Hebrew Israelites what they want. They asking the messenger. They, black and white, asking the messenger, well, what do the Muslims want? So the messenger trying to make this question as simple as he can. So in one of the beliefs. He say we believe in the truth of the Bible. Because the messenger didn't just teach us to have, as he called, what did he say? God, it slips my mind. Face value, that's what he said. We don't believe in the Bible on face value. Because when we believe the Bible on face value, we didn't know that the white man, and I'm going to say it over and over again, the white man wrote the Bible to hide the truth from the black man. Got to keep saying. Because the black Hebrew Israelites, because this nigga bus stop done took the messenger's interpretation and added it to stories. They say, well, how could the white man have wrote Jesus black? Solomon, it say the Ancient of Days is black. The white man wrote the Bible to hide the truth from the black man. So it was the messenger who said that we believe in the truth. Because the Bible has plenty of truth, he said. But he said it has been tampered with and must be reinterpreted. Because the way the white man wrote the Bible, we would think that it's talking about a physical resurrection. That's how they wrote it. We would think at the end of the judgment that people was going to be rising up from the graves, meeting Jesus in the air. Because the white man wrote the Bible to hide the truth from the black man. So the messenger goes on. He says, we believe in Allah's prophets and the scriptures they brought to the people. Another good one. He told us not to believe the Bible on face value. So us as Muslims, we believe in the gospel. The gospel means the good news. That's what Jesus brought. So we believe in Allah, we believe in his prophet Jesus, and we believe in the scriptures that he brought to the people. He didn't bring a gospel according to Matthew. He didn't bring a gospel according to Luke, John, Mark. No, he brought the gospel. So we believe in the gospel. But we don't believe in the gospel according to this one and that. Right. The white man wrote the Bible to hide the truth from the black man. So the messenger goes on. He says, we believe in the resurrection of the dead. Not in physical resurrection, but in mental resurrection. We believe that the so-called Negroes are most in need of mental resurrection. Therefore, they will be resurrected first. Furthermore, we believe we are the people of God's choice, as it has been written, that God would choose the rejected and the despised. We can find no other persons fitting this description in these last days more than the so-called Negroes in America. We believe in the resurrection of the righteous. Once again, that's what the messenger taught. Yes. He taught us that, because the thing about this nigga bus stop, when the messenger first taught us, and this is why his history is so important for us to bring to the people. When the messenger was saying this, he was not being accepted. In 1962, when the black people wasn't accepting the fact that when the messenger talked about a mental resurrection, they wasn't accepting that. So in 1961, in the Jet magazine, they had 4 black leaders. It was Martin Luther King, Roy Wilkins, James Farmer, and the messenger. The title of the article of Jet magazine was called "Which Way for the Negro?" So they taking Jet Magazine said these are the 4 black leaders, or the 4 black main leaders of Black America, or Negro America. It was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, James Farmer, Martin Luther King, and Roy Wilkins. So in the messenger section, he said by 1970, 90% of the so-called Negroes will be sympathetic to what I teach. Because in 1961, black people was asking the question, what do the Muslims want? So when the messenger was telling them what the Muslims wanted, they like, y'all think it's going to be a mental? That sounds crazy. So the messenger say, yeah, it sounds crazy. But by 1970, 90% of the so-called American Negroes will be sympathetic. He didn't say, oh, they're going to accept. No, will be sympathetic to what I teach. Yes, sir.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
So let's go on even further than that. Because we want to look at the different ways that the messenger broke down for us the resurrection. Because you have in the Bible where Jesus talks about the resurrection of the black man, and he also talks about the resurrection of the messenger. First, we're going to talk about how the messenger explained to us what does a resurrection mean for us as Muslims. This is a YouTube video of an interview of the messenger. It's called Archive Footage of the Fruit of Islam FOI Training of Me. This is what the messenger says. He's talking about Islam. He said it gives them that spirit of self-pride. It gives him also the spirit of doing something for self. And it is to make himself recognized by others. He says, I think Islam is one of the greatest religions of all time for our people in America. He says the so-called American Negro have to be completely re-educated. He has to be completely made over again. In the condition that he is in now, he is not fit for self, not to think of others. This is the mess. Now, what is he saying? Always got to give an example. This is Malcolm X. This is Malcolm X before he had a resurrection, mental resurrection. He was not fit for self. In this condition, that's something that we don't think. We think we are right in this condition. But the messenger said, in our present condition, we ain't even fit for our own self, not to mention us. He can't even help himself, not to mention me letting him go out teaching other people while he's still in this condition. He ain't fit for self. He needs a complete remake, be made all over again. Let's read that part again. He says the so-called American Negroes have to be completely re-educated. He has to be completely made over again. In the condition that he is now in, he is not fit for self, not to think of others. He said, and Islam gives him that qualification, that he can be proud of that. He now can go out in the world and feel that he is the equal of the other civilized beings, and does not feel ashamed to be called a black man or a member of the black nation. So now that Malcolm X cleaned himself up, now he's fit to go out in the world. That's after he cleans himself up. Because we must go through a mental resurrection. Yes. Not a physical resurrection. He said, in the condition that the black man is in now, he ain't even fit for self. Can't help his own self. So until he be completely remade over again, a complete re-education, now he ready to go out in the world. Because Islam gives him that qualification. Now let's look at these niggas in IUIC. Look at this nigga. These the dirty niggas who out there telling Muslims what time it is. While we sit around with this chief hypocrite Louis Eugene and don't say nothing. So this dirty nigga standing out in the community, nigga ain't fit for self. Just looking at him, he ain't fit for self. But because of this dirty nigga, bus stop. Because bus stop Bishop, we got to talk about him too. He the chief dirty nigga. Look at him. So the chief dirty nigga, bus stop Bishop, he don't require none of his followers to have a mental resurrection. But this same dirty nigga out in the street talking about the resurrection of God's people. This how you can tell these niggas be copying from the message. You just saying what the messenger said.
That's right.
Do it look like he had a mental resurrection?
No, sir.
He's still not fit for self.
Right.
What Muslim would take these niggas? Nigga, shut your mouth, nigga. Go take a bath, nigga. I'm telling you. You think this nigga would have told Captain Ali Rashid that it's... Nigga, shut your mouth, nigga. Hell you think you is? You ain't getting in the way of the message. This dirty nigga look like the same kind of nigga we sell papers to. So, this dirty nigga got a video that says modern women hates the Bible. Because in IUIC, they bash the black woman. So all the Kevin Samuels type brothers call the black woman a modern woman. Because they say modern women don't submit to their man. So he's saying that modern women hate the Bible. Because this same dirty nigga go out in the community, bash black women and tell them how the Bible say a woman is supposed to submit to her husband. But look at him. This nigga ain't fit. What if this nigga, your daughter brought this nigga home talking about this my boy? What parent would be like, oh, nice to meet you? You telling your daughter, who is this dirty nigga? I didn't raise you like that. But with the chief dirty nigga, bus stop Bishop, he let these niggas just get out there and stand up there acting like they resurrecting the black man. Now let's go on even further than that. Because this dirty brother is from IUIC, Virginia. These are the video. He got a video to say, does the Bible teach smoking weed or be sober? This the nigga. He look like he might as well smoke weed. He look like he's smoking weed with the rest of, but this nigga out here telling the brothers, did the Bible say, look how dirty he look? Then he got another ones that say, sisters letting brothers drip, then dip. How disrespectful that is. This dirty nigga. Let's go on even further than that. Let's go to this one. Another dirty nigga from IUIC. Messengers say you ain't even fit for self. You can't help yourself. He said you have to have a complete remake. He said the black man needs to be made all over again. He said re-educate. He said Islam gives them those qualifications. So after the black man accepts Islam, cleans himself up, now he's ready to go out in the world and be equal to other civilized beings. Do you think a civilized man will accept this nigga as an equal? This dirty looking, homeless looking nigga, but he got the microphone. He can be the leader in IUIC. He can tell a brother what he don't, if this brother look like this, after accepting the truth, what did he look like before? What did he look like before he accepted the Most High? What did he look like before he saw this nigga, the cheap dirty nigga? Bus stop bishop. It don't look like this brother made no changes. Because if he changed and he still look like this, ain't no hope for this brother. Let's go on any further than that. 2 more dirty niggas in IUIC. Just look like savages. These be the brothers that be holding up the picture of Master Farad Muhammad, disrespected. But the messenger, he taught us what a resurrection was. A resurrection is a complete remake. Because in our present condition, we not fit for self. He said after we make a complete remake, now you ready to go out? Tell your other brother, look at me. Even when we make a remake, the messenger told us, he said, those of you who know, remember there was a time when you didn't know.
Yeah, that's right.
We more clean than these dirty niggas. But go listen to how these niggas be talking to the... Could you imagine this dirty nigga browbeating a sister for not putting on, she half naked? This the dirty nigga from IUIC telling, shut up and put some clothes on. Calling them whores. Some of the stuff IUIC say to the black woman, and I'm like, look at this nigga. How this nigga telling a sister look at him. But let's go on any further than that. Now let's talk about the resurrection of the messenger. Because the Bible that the white man wrote to hide the truth from the black man, he wrote it in such a way that we believe in spookism. But the Bible is not talking about spookism. The Bible is talking about real life reality. Now let's go to December 29th, 1972, Muhammad speaks. It's called Jesus Was Only a Prophet. This is the message. Now in the editor's note, it says this timely, up to the minute and accurate article is reprinted by popular request from the July 29th, 1966 issue of Muhammad Speaks News. I always got to let that be known. Black people, not only would they ask the messenger questions, like they did in What the Muslims Want. They the ones asking the messenger these questions. So by the messenger answering the question, he telling them what the Muslims believe, what the Muslims want. So after they see what the Muslims believe and what the Muslims want, black people start liking that. So they say, oh, could y'all come back out with that article y'all wrote in 1966 so it'll editor's note. The timely up to the minute. This was the teachings of the messenger. Because the messenger's teachings, when they say up to the minute, what are they talking about? When Martin Luther King used to try to integrate, that was something new for the black man. So the messengers up to the minute teachings, he would look at them and say, you say you believe in Moses. Moses didn't teach integration. Moses was the leader of God's people. Pharaoh was an enemy to God's people and Moses, just like the white man is an enemy to you.
Yes.
He wasn't teaching integration. He taught separation. When the white man came out with birth control pills and the black man accepted, the messenger had up to the minute teachings. He said, what about Pharaoh? Pharaoh tried to kill the firstborn of God's people. The same way the white man trying to do to you with the birth control pill. Right down to the minute. So when these niggas like Bus Stop was updating their teachings, sometimes you might have got this article when it first came out, but you might have took it to the synagogue and gave it to somebody ain't give it back to you. So then you just write, oh, could y'all come back out with that, the one y'all wrote 1966. I got to give it to some old brothers. Messenger just say, okay. But he let the world know. That's why I love the Muhammad speaks. The messenger, he was the messenger of God. Everybody who would come around the Muslim, they took pictures of him. He didn't let nothing slide. So when black people would be requesting his art, he let it be known, these is up to the minute articles that I'm reprinting because it's by popular request. So let's go on with the message. He says the history of Jesus, that the white man teaches the black man that he had a miraculous birth without the agency of a male of flesh and blood. Because whenever I talk about the Bible was wrote by the white man, all the niggas in IUIC who respond, they say, how can you believe that the Bible was written by the white man when it say Jesus black? When it say Solomon black? When it talk about the ancient of days, he had hair like lamb's wool. The messenger said that the white man is a master of the science called trick knowledge.
That's right.
Tricknology is when you add, you mix truth with falsehood. So just because the white man has little clues in the Bible that you done figured out because of the messenger, that talks about the ancient of days, talks about hair like lamb's wool, that's the hook that the white man used. Did he put a little bait on his hook? Let me put some bait on these dirty niggas' bus stop. Because his outward dirty appearance is a reflection of how dirty that nigga is on the inside. He's just a dirty nigga.
Yes.
I can't wait till we become Muslims like we used to be and say it to that nigga's face. You a dirty nigga. Not only is you, shut up, you dirty nigga. Because the messenger taught us. He said, what is the sole purpose of FOI? He said, our sole purpose is to deliver the dead to the land. Our sole purpose. This is why, during the time of the messenger, you ain't had niggas like Bus Stop. And I'm so happy I met them kind of brothers. I'm glad I came just in time and joined the Nation of Islam.
Yes.
Because a lot of them old school brothers is gone.
Yes.
But I thank Allah that I met some of them before they was gone. One of my favorite brothers Brother Muhammad Salim Bey.
Yeah.
That brother was a Muslim, fighter for the message.
Yeah.
He told me a story that I'd never forget. Because all the brothers got different stories now that they gone. They all got signature stories that I just remember that they told. When I used to see them, it was more stories that I would remember. But now that they gone, it's just always that one that you remember that Brother Bay said. So Brother Bay said one time they was going door to door. He said it was this brother who he rung the doorbell. The person who owned the house or came to the door disrespected the messenger. So Brother Bay said before they could tell the brother don't, he had snatched the person through the screen door and threw him on the ground. Brother Bay said the brother pulled $20 out his pocket and said, nigga, get your dough fixed, nigga. That's what he said. Brother Bay told me plenty of stories. Like I asked Brother Bay one time, because I used to ask all the old school brothers about IUIC when I started seeing. I'd be like, what would happen if y'all would have seen that shit? Like them brothers wouldn't have lasted. I ain't even gonna tell you what them brothers use, not with the messenger. My word is bond to every brother I asked. What if these brothers would have been doing that shit? They used to say, not with the messenger. No, brother, them brothers, that's why you didn't see them kind of brothers. You did not, them brothers you said a messenger had to tell them all the time. We are never the aggressor. Brother Bay used to talk about they used to fight with the police so much, all the time. Another brother, Brother Ahmad. I remember the first story I heard with him. Ahmad was the most mild-mannered brother I think I ever met. Real mild-mannered, real calm, real friendly. Savior's Day. I can't remember what Savior's Day it was. But Savior's Day, Brother Ahmad was with just brothers. And it was just brothers talking. He told us about a mafia member. He said in Chicago, some mafia person did something to a Muslim. He said they found him in a garbage can. My word is bond to Allah. Say they found him in a garbage can. He said those that know don't say, and those that say don't know. So he told us where we could find the article for this particular incident, because that was the type of brother he was. He always told us where we could find it. So I went back looking for this article. I didn't find that one, but I found the article with Carlo Gambino. That was good enough. Because Carlo Gambino was a higher mob person than this person he was talking about in Chicago. So Brother Ahmad said, he said we used to have to make plenty of examples. That's what he told us. Them old school brothers' stories was completely different than the stories we tell. They used to go look for people who talking against the messenger. They wouldn't like us. They loved the messenger. And when you listen to them brothers talk, you can tell how much they love.
That's right.
They loved the messenger so much they didn't care what nobody thought.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
Brother Bay told me they would be fighting all in the middle of downtown. Throwing people through he said one time, this is the last one and we gonna move on. He was talking about they had a fight one time. He was happy to tell us. They was not like how we are. They love to tell you how they love the messenger. He was talking about how they had got into a fight somewhere downtown in Los Angeles. He said he said he don't even know how he did it. But he was saying in the fight, he just took the person and threw him through that glass window in the mall somewhere. Say, I don't know how I did it, but we was fighting. He ended up through the glass window. That was, brother, I'm telling you. If I asked him about it, night with the message. So let's go on with the message. So this was the first place where we see how the white man wrote the Bible. Because they make you believe that Jesus was born without the agency of a man. That's falsehood. All human beings was born with the agency of a man. All human beings. But the white man, the messenger said, he says the history of Jesus, that the white man teaches the black man that he had a miraculous birth without the agency of a male of flesh and blood, is used to cause misunderstanding of the truth of the physical birth and death of Jesus. He says, being slaves who could not read nor write and kept in this condition, non-educated, for over 300 years, made our fathers ignorant to the knowledge of theology, the true meanings of the Bible. But today, God has appeared in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever, to teach us this lost knowledge of the truth. Love the messenger. He don't never hold you up. Master Farad Muhammad came. He the one who taught us this lost knowledge of the truth. We didn't know before him. So how can we have today? First of all, look at how dirty they are. They not experiencing or have to perform no kind of mental resurrection. These brothers look the same way they looked before they accepted this IUIC stuff and that. But they in the way. They in our way.
Yes.
But we let them be in the way. They wasn't in the messenger's way though.
That's right.
Because the messenger told the Muslims, it was Master Farad Muhammad. He the one who taught us this lost knowledge. We don't know it because of ourselves. We know it because of God in person. So the messenger goes on. He says the white people are continually in this day of enlightenment of the truth of everything, trying to keep the so-called Negroes blind, deaf, and dumb by preaching Jesus as being God himself and that he died for the world of their evil kind. Another part where the white man wrote the Bible to hide the truth from them because he is a master of tricknology. Because first of all, how he a master? First, he didn't let us read it. That's number one. He didn't let us read it for 379 years. Then when he let us read it, the messenger said, he fixed it. So yeah, it talk about hair like lamb's wool. It talk about the Ancient of Days. It talk about Solomon and all these black prophets. That's the bait on the hook. So now when you see that as you a sophisticated dirty nigga. You like a little truth. So the white man put just enough truth for a dirty nigga like Bishop. So now this dirty nigga believes in hook, line, and sinker. He believe all the spookism. He believe all the lies. So that's why when you see IUIC, you don't see nothing but a bunch of dirty niggas. Now let's go on even further than that. Now let's talk about how the messenger said about the resurrection of the messenger. The messenger says, the 18th verse of the first chapter of the Revelation of St. John reads like this. I am he that liveth and was dead. And behold, I am alive forevermore. Once again, when you got bus stop, he already biting on the white man's hook. So he think that's talking about Jesus. Because the white man wrote the Bible to hide the truth from the black man. So instead of us looking for a savior to come for the black man, we looking at Jesus of 2,000 years ago. We don't know that the messenger looking us right in the face. The messenger performing miracles right in our face.
Yes.
But we dumb, dirty niggas like, bus stop. You believe the Bible hook, line, and sinker. You see a few words of truth. You so dumb. You so dirty. Because you don't accept the messenger. Then the messenger say what Allah do to you. Once you reject the truth. He say he seals their hearts.
Yes.
Where they cannot see nor understand. That's what the messenger said.
That's right.
For dirty niggas like bus stop.
Yes, sir.
Tell him. Hope that nigga stay blind. I hope Allah let us wake this nigga up. I'm telling you. So the messenger goes on. He says this does not refer now to the God, but refers to one of the mentally dead Negroes who had been dead to the knowledge of truth and self and God, and now has been brought to life or knowledge, and has now been given authority over mental death in these words. And he has the keys of hell and of death. Because it bus stop now. If you smart enough, you didn't, because we gonna play dumb with them. You didn't steal the resurrection from the messenger. You just read the Bible and bus stop Bishop so smart, he told you that this not talking about dead people rising up from the grave. So what was Jesus talking about? When he says, I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive evermore. Who was that talking about? Because if you recognize one, why don't you recognize the other? Because the messenger said, because he breaks it all the way down. He says this does not refer now to the God, but refers to one of the mentally dead Negroes who had been dead to the knowledge of truth and self and God, and now has been brought to life or knowledge, and has now been given authority over mental death in these words, and have the keys of hell and of death. He says the keys mean authority and wisdom of how to execute the authority. Of hell means the condition of the people of his in hell under a people who have killed them mentally. So this is why niggas like bus stop. He's so dumb. He can't see that's talking about the messenger. Because when the messenger taught us, he taught us that we must have a mental resurrection. He taught us what a mental resurrection was. It means a complete remake. To be completely re-educated. Because we died a mental death.
Yeah.
So when Jesus talking about somebody who was dead and now alive, and that person got the keys to hell. The messenger said, hell is not a special place. Hell is a condition of life. So if Jesus said he got the keys to hell, he ain't talking about some place where you burn forever and ever. He's talking about the mental death of the black man.
Yes, sir.
So he says, the messenger says, he says, this key, he says, and I quote, and of death does not mean natural, literal death that comes to everyone. But it means that this key of authority and enlightenment would destroy the death of ignorance and the mental death of the people of God in hell. Not a burning, literal, fiery hell, as the reader may think, but a hell of a condition of life, being deprived of the essential things of life. So that's the messenger. He got the keys to our mental death. He has the keys to life. Now, bus stop Bishop now. They ain't gonna say that. Bus stop Bishop and all these dirty brothers in IUIC, they not gonna say they stealing from the messenger. So how can we prove without a shadow of a doubt that they is stealing from the messenger? We always got to remember what the messenger said. He said, I will be the winner whether I'm living or dead. So let's go talk about it. Because not only is not bus stop them not going to say nothing, but the chief hypocrite Louis Eugene and all these Muslims ain't going to say nothing either. So how we know? Jesus said in the Bible, he said, if you hold your peace, he said, I'll make the rocks cry out. You can say it or not say it. God will get the glory. So if we as Muslims ain't gonna say it, the thieves in IUIC ain't, Allah make the lost found cry out and bear witness to the truth of the message. So this is one of my favorites. This book is called A History of Conversion to Islam in the United States, Volume 2. This book has got to be one of the best books because I haven't read the whole book. This book like $200 and something. It's out of print. So it's only certain places you can read. And you have to pay like $40 per chapter. So I'm only on chapter 14. But this book, or this chapter 14, has got to be one of the best chapters I ever read on somebody talking about the teachings of the message. Now let's get into the chapter. The chapter of this 14 is called A Cultural Revolution. He says it would be no exaggeration to estimate that tens of thousands of African Americans were adhering to portions of the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, and other Muslim leaders without claiming to be actual Muslims. So even though this dirty nigga won't admit it, the law's found with. He said let's read it again. He said it would be no exaggeration to estimate that tens of thousands of African Americans were adhering to portions of the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, and other Muslim leaders without claiming to be actual Muslims. In addition, the adoption of Islamic words, phrases, and ideas into common black folk speech and knowledge. So these dirty niggas in Iowa, we don't need you to admit. They say the rocks are crying. This brother a rock.
Yes, sir.
Let the rock. He wrote a 2-volume book that's out of print, but you can still get a hold to it. He said it ain't no exaggeration. He said they done took Islamic phrases, Islamic words and ideas. The resurrection was the idea of the message. It wasn't no idea of this dirty nigga named Bus Stop Bishop. He ain't resurrected nobody. You see no signs of a mental resurrection among these fakes. But with the messenger, everybody saw not only a mental resurrection with the Muslim, but tens of thousands of African Americans was practicing portions of Elijah Muhammad's teachings without saying you was a Muslim.
Right.
Just like how these niggas doing now. Let's go on any further than that. It says, in addition, The adoption of Islamic words, phrases, and ideas into common black folk speech and knowledge was gaining momentum and was being endorsed by a prominent new wave of African American poets, playwrights, musicians, and other cultural leaders. He broke that all down. First he's saying, it's no exaggeration to say that tens of thousands of black people practicing portions of Elijah Muhammad's teachings without saying they are Muslim. They taking Islamic phrases, Islamic words and ideas. Not only are they doing, but you got poets, playwrights, and musicians. They doing the same thing too. Facts. So let's go on even further than that. Because this next part, because we got to skip through. This next part is one of the main things that explains dirty niggas like bus stop. This is on page 563. He says, a final important influence of Islam. This chapter, he breaking down stuff I didn't even, and that's why I like reading the messenger's teachings from these. They be seeing his teaching just like we were talking last week. I didn't know the messenger was teaching us. It's just the teachings of the messenger. But when you look at these scholars, what they be pulling out from the influence of you don't even be thinking about. So he says a final important influence of Islam in the transformation of African American culture. The messenger, he's saying, transformed African American culture. So he's saying all praise is due to Allah. So he's saying this is the last final important influence of Islam in the transformation of African American culture during this period came by way of the new black Pan-African Studies movement. Lost found. He said Elijah Muhammad transformed African American culture. But this is the last and the final way. And it talks about came by way of the new black Pan-African Studies movement. He says the 1960s and early 1970s witnessed the emergence of a wave of both reprints of works by black-focused authors from the late 19th and 18th centuries, including Edward Bolden, J. Rogers, and Marcus Garvey, as well as numerous African-American intellectuals who wrote and taught at colleges while focusing on spreading the black perspective of history and culture. Another important point. Because he says the 1960s and early 1970s witnessed an emergence of a wave of both reprints. That's a very important word. Because J. Rogers, Marcus Garvey, and this brother Edward Bolden was there all the time. They didn't go nowhere. But he said this what the messenger influenced when he transformed African American culture. Now they want to reprint J. Rogers. They want to reprint Edward Bowen and Marcus Garvey. But that we can go even further than that. Because J. Rogers bears witness to it himself. In this article, in the Pittsburgh Carrier, June 10th, 1959, Pittsburgh Carrier, it says 1,600 hail writer J. Rogers at Muslims New York Exposition. This is what J. Rogers says. He says, here in America, we have had plenty of leaders, but they have always been the wrong ones. They have foolishly preyed upon us for themselves. But at last, we have found the right one in Mr. Muhammad. He says the thing that impresses me most about Mr. Muhammad's young followers is they are so alive alert, independent, and honest. Being a writer, many people come to me and take my books and never pay me for them. J. Raj bearing witness to the message. These people don't care nothing about my books. They come get my book, don't even pay me for my book. So they don't care nothing about this knowledge. They just abusing the author. Because everybody wants to be compensated for their hard work. But if you got a brother who would know that J. Rogers is still to this day one of the best historians we ever produced, and you would get a book from him himself and you don't pay him, you don't respect him. You don't respect his book. You don't respect his knowledge. You don't respect his hard work. But when he saw the message, he saw something different. He said, I'm being a writer myself. Many people come to me and take my books and never pay me for it. But Mr. Muhammad's followers gets these books by the thousands and even pays for them in advance. Not only do they themselves want to learn, but they want to spread this knowledge to the rest of our people. This was something the messenger did. So when the messenger transformed black culture, now black people want reprints of J.A. Rogers. Now they want to look at Marcus Garvey. Let's talk about Marcus Garvey. In 1963, Marcus Garvey's wife wrote a letter to the messenger. This comes from the June 7th, 1963, Muhammad Speaks. It says, letter to Mr. Muhammad from the wife of the late Marcus Garvey. She says, I have been deeply impressed by Messenger Elijah Muhammad's message of freedom and unity in the March 18th issue of Muhammad Speaks, and I wish to compliment him on it. You ain't got time to read it all. She writing to the messenger. Then, in the August 16th, 1963, Muhammad Speaks, it says, thank Muhammad Speaks readers. Mail response amazed Marcus Garvey's widow. So she was so amazed at how many Muslims read her letter plus responded to her that she wrote back in her amazement. She was amazed when you read this. They're like, look at how his followers just respect me and they responded to my letter. Marcus Garvey's wife. Then in 1967, 4 years later, she comes to the temple. Marcus Garvey's wife, J. Rogers, all these other people had no problem with the messenger at all. Now let's go on even further with what because this is the most important part of this whole part to me. It says the 1960s and early 1970s witnessed an emergence of a wave of both reprints of works by black-focused authors from the late 19th century or the late 19th and early 18th century, including Edward Blyton, J. Rogers, and Marcus Garvey, as well as numerous African-American intellectuals who wrote and taught at colleges while focusing on spreading the black perspective of history and culture. A few Muslim BAM artists, most notably Torre and Marvin X, obtained short-term teaching posts in California schools. Marvin X used this platform to require students at Fresno State to read Muhammad Speaks, Elijah Muhammad's writings, and Baraka's Black Masses. However, the vast majority of the new intellectuals. Now, this is the most important part of it all. Let's start over again. It says, however, it says the vast majority of the new intellectuals were not Muslims. And even if most had been inspired and culturally validated by Malcolm X's career, Islam, for the most part, played only a secondary role in this current. In fact, some of the non-Muslim black intellectuals who rose to fame during this period possessed very critical views of Islam. What is that saying? The messenger is the one who transforms black culture. He is the one who caused it to where black people won't reprints of J.A. Rogers, reprints of Marcus Garvey, reprints of this one, reprints of that one. You got all these people getting all these jobs as black professors in these colleges. But these new intellectuals, they critical of Islam now. Nah, Islam is a religion. Islam enslaved the black man, just like these dirty niggas in IUIC. That's important for us to know. Because the people before, because he makes a distinction, he says new intellectuals. He names a new intellectual. He says the most prominent of these individuals was Harlem's Yosef Ben Yaakov, widely known as Dr. Bean. In his 1970 book, African Origins of Major Western Religions, Dr. Ben argues, as the book title implies, that Christianity, Judaism, and Islam can all be traced to Africa. However, he portrays Islam as an essential Arab religion that is self-contradictory and possesses a legacy of supporting the African slave trade. Dr. Bean, the new intellectual, the nigga who wasn't saying nothing before.
Right.
Dr. Ben was a Jewish nigga. Wasn't saying, but he a new intellectual. He got a job because of the message. He see all the love the messenger get. So now he a jealous nigga. Now he writing books talking about Islam really a Arab religion. Because he want the love of the messenger.
That's right.
Same way these dirty niggas in IUIC is. They not cleaning themselves up. They not changing, but they hate the messenger. Allah, the messenger says, Allah blinds them to where they can't see, no understand. So we as Muslims who believe in the teachings of the messenger, we can see these niggas. And that's crazy. How we can see these niggas, but these niggas can't see themselves. We see this dirty nigga, but this dirty nigga can't see himself. Allah blinds them to where they cannot see nor understand. They think they out there resurrecting the black man when you just as dirty as they are. You need a mental resurrection like they do. Just a dirty nigga. Just a dirty nigga, because the messenger talked about Islam. He said you make fun of Islam when Islam is more respected than you. Black people who accept the religion of Islam under the messenger get respect. The messenger say once we go out, we see ourselves as equals to other civilized human beings. But what civilized human being looks and respects Bust-Stop Bishop? Nobody. Well, brothers and sisters, we don't want to prolong the time. So I leave you as I came in the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Soul Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live. The alone do we serve, and the alone seek for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path, path of those upon whom thou bestow thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none deserve to be served, worship, or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us not to do anything to anyone that we wouldn't have done it to ourselves and treat everybody right, even the devil. Assalamu alaikum.